Welcome to Advocate with Dr. Rufus Lowe, where we aspire each and every day to eradicate the silence of good people who allow bad things to happen. And in doing so, we can together provide a new and glorious path forward for all. Our conversation will be based on the teachings of my latest book entitled Shadow Tolerance, Your Guide to Accepting Racial Difference. Shall we begin? Today we're going to talk about intersectionality, and we will be dealing with intersectionality a lot during our podcast. And before we get started on intersectionality, of course, just like anything else, I'm going to try real hard to define it in its terms. But just like anything else, folks, when we are limited just to our 10 minutes or a little less on our podcast, we will continue to go over specific points as needed during each of our podcasts. So if I don't talk enough about intersectionality, and it's something that comes up again as a topic as we move forward, I will readdress certain nuances that didn't get discussed through the initial podcast. So let's talk about intersectionality today for just a little while, and then we will move on. First of all, let me just say that intersectionality has a role in race relations. In today's rapidly evolving society, the concept of intersectionality has emerged as a crucial framework to understanding the complex nature of race relations. So it's really two things that we discuss when it talks about race relations, and that's whether you're black or you're white, and then all the cultures that spring off as a result of being in a culture. Like, for instance, Hispanic culture, Asian culture, all the differences. At its core, intersectionality recognizes that individuals do not experience oppression or privilege based on a single marker. Okay, so I'm black, and I do not express, or oppression doesn't have an impact on me just on the fact that I'm black. It takes in considerations that I'm a black, and that I'm male, and that I'm middle class. And those other two markers, other than being black, are examples of intersectionality. Again, intersectionality is not based on the single thing, in this particular case, color. It's also based on race. It's also based on gender, class being your socioeconomic status. We're going to talk a little bit about that because some people don't quite understand how, especially in the realm of politics, socioeconomics is played upon as a bumper sticker in a way to make some people just feel like, hey, you've got my best interest in mind. And all they really basically said is, let's use this for example, when it comes to taxes, tax breaks for the rich would be an example of a bumper sticker type statement that you got to really dig into the details to understand the class or the intersectionality of socioeconomics before you can automatically think, well, somebody's looking out for me. Maybe they are. Maybe they're just trying to get your vote. We'll dig into that a little bit later. But rather than through a combination of overlapping identities. So there's more to me than being black. There's more to me than being male. There's more to me than being educated or not educated. There's more to me than being a member of the USTA tennis team. There's all kinds of intersectionalities that best describe me as a person. As a result, in order for me to get the biggest benefit out of any type of political or any type of social change, it has to hit me in all those different areas that affect me personally, okay? This multifaceted approach allows us to grasp the nuanced experiences of individuals and communities, particularly those leading to or that belong to marginalized groups. So everything has its cornerstone in marginalization. If your particular group is not being mistreated or oppressed in any sort of way, then you're not considered marginalized, and consider that to be a blessing. But at the same time, you are the most powerful person when it comes to creating harmony in race relations, because it doesn't affect people that are not in marginalized communities as a negative. There's other things that might be an issue, but race relations, if you're not in a marginalized community, being oppressed is not one of them. So as we embark on this journey to explore intersectionality and race, it's essential to understand why this concept matters more than ever before. In a word that is increasingly diverse, we have to acknowledge these intersections of race and other social categories like gender, sexuality, ability. Some people have talents, and of course, socioeconomic status, which we're going to talk about. We're going to probably talk about it here in the next few seconds. But let's just make it as simple as we can make it. Somebody like a Barack Obama, who was a black male, doesn't have the same intersectionalities, in essence, as maybe a LeBron James, who's also a black male. They have a lot of things in common. And when it comes to color, of course, they share the fact that they're both black. But one happens to be, talented in basketball. They have all the intelligences of being able to grasp a basketball, bounce a basketball, jump, know where to be on the court, know where to be when it compares to other people on the court, know spacing, things about basketball that I don't even know. LeBron James is cerebral when it comes to that. Meanwhile, Barack Obama knows how to write books. He knows how to speak. He's very articulate. He was able to get people together in order to be elected as president of the United States. Those are different intersectionalities that are even in the minutia. But we're still talking about two black male individuals in a society that is, in their particular case, marginalized. Okay? So, in a world that is increasingly diverse, acknowledging these intersections of race and other social categories, like we've just mentioned, enables us to develop a more comprehensive understanding of systemic inequalities. For example, consider the experiences of black women. Okay, they face both racial discrimination and gender bias, which can compound the challenges they encounter in various aspects of life, such as education, employment, and healthcare. Because healthcare for me as a black male is different than healthcare for a female, black, white, or indifferent. So how we come across and our needs based on intersectionality is different. Okay. Let's see. We also have to realize that recognizing these intersections allows us to advocate for more effective policies and practices that address the unique struggles faced by individuals who exist at the crossroads of multiple identities during the course of the day, of the course of the month, all the multiple crossroads that you have to go through. The roots of intersectionality can be traced back to the work of scholars such as Kimberly Crenshaw, and we talked about her earlier and we'll talk about her now, who introduced the term in the late 1980s of intersectionality. Crenshaw highlighted traditional frameworks for analyzing discrimination, often overlooked, and the specific challenges that are faced by women of color. And her pioneering work led to the foundation for a broader conversation about how various forms of racial and social stratification interact with one another. Okay? Today, as a matter of fact, Intersectionality has transcended academic discourse and has become a vital lens through which activists and policymakers and everyday individuals can understand and address the comprehensive nature and the complexities of social justice. So we learn a little bit about that. As we delve deeper into this topic, we will explore various dimensions of intersectionality in race relations, and we will examine how historical contexts such as colonialism, which we talked about, the historical foundation of racism, slavery, all have shaped contemporary racial dynamics. Understanding that these historical underpinnings are critical. They're critical as they provide insight into the systemic structures that continue to perpetuate inequality. And giving an example, the legacy of redlining in the United States by itself has resulted in a long-lasting disparity in wealth and access to resources for communities of color, illustrating how race intersects with economic factors. Furthermore, we will investigate the role of privilege and power in shaping the experiences of different racial groups. Intersectionality challenges us to consider not only how race affects individuals, but also how other identities influence their experiences of privilege and oppression. This perspective encourages a more inclusive dialogue about social justice. So when it's all said and done, it's all about social justice or social injustice as the inverse. And what happens is it highlights the importance of allyship. And we talked a little bit about allyship. And like I said before, sometimes we will go over things one or two times, and I'll sort of kind of remind you. Allyship is basically people that are not in marginalized groups taking on the hero mode of trying to help those that are not like themselves in this particular case. And having this allyship creates a solidarity among various marginalized groups by understanding the interconnectedness of our struggles. We can foster a more equitable society. So I am going to end with this, and then we will explore a little bit further in our next podcast. But throughout our exploration, we will also encounter contemporary movements and initiatives that are grounded in intersectional principles. Well, what exactly is that? Well, example being Black Lives Matter to LGBTQ rights and advocacy for those groups. These movements demonstrate a power of intersectionality in mobilizing diverse communities towards common goals. By recognizing and amplifying the voices of those who occupy multiple marginalized identities, we can work towards creating a more just and inclusive world.